We had this problem earlier. There it goes. We are recording.
Okay, Meredith. I work for the City of Austin Housing and Planning Department. I am the case manager for this case, and tonight is the ordinance required community meeting to discuss MPA 2021-0011.02. If you haven't done so already, if you've logged into the meeting by your computer, if you could type into the chat box your name, and if you're with an organization, I'll use that as the sign-in sheet for the meeting. If you could please mute your microphone if you're joining by phone, and also on the computer, if you could also turn off your video. As you probably noted already, this meeting is being recorded and it will be posted to the Speak Up Austin website. So how to participate today. The speech bubble in the menu bar, it would be at the bottom or the top of your screen. We'll open the chat box where you can type in questions at any time. Please limit general comments until the end of the Q&A session. After the presentations, you can click on the raise hand icon to be called on to speak. For people who are on the phone, if you can just chime in whenever there's an opportunity to let us know you have a question, you can do that. So as you know, this is in the North Loop neighborhood planning area. As I introduce myself, I am the case manager for the plan amendment cases, and then the other applicants, like the agent and the other people associated with the application. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, you can turn on your video if you want. And I see we don't have a lot of participants from the neighborhood, but if you want to also introduce yourselves at this point, you can do that as well. I'll just go ahead and let people introduce themselves. And when, if you can start with Mark, then we'll go to Andrew and whoever's there for the applicant, and then we'll go to the attendees.
Good evening. My name is Mark Walters. I will be moderating tonight's questions.
Andrew, looks like your mic is off.
I'm sorry. Hi, thanks for having us tonight. My name is Andrew Logan. I'm the architect working for the Amaya family on their vision for this lot.
Is there anybody else from the applicant here? Andrew, is Candelario here?
It does not look like he is here, so
Okay.
we'll
Okay. So if anybody else from the neighborhood want to go ahead and introduce yourself, you can do that.
My name is Christopher Mosh. I'm the president of Verandas Uptown HOA, the condo right across the street from Amaya, sorry.
Anyone else?
Hi, this is Delia Davila. I am also a resident at Verandas Uptown, right across the street from where the construction plans are awaiting to happen. I also work for the Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation, but we have no affiliation for this. I am just very interested in all of the housing and planning and changes that are happening in the community.
Hello, I'm Ray Amendola. I would describe us as more down the street, but tomato tomato. But yeah, I live in the same building as Christopher and Delia. And yeah, I'm just curious about what the plans are. I love gossip.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, I am Jackie. I also live at the Verandas, and same thing. I'm just curious about what is going to be happening at Amaya's.
Okay. There's no one else. I'll go ahead and continue the presentation. So as I said, my name is Maureen Meredith. I am the case manager of the plan amendment case. Mark Graham would be the zoning planner when the zoning case is filed. I don't think it's been filed yet. I don't know if Andrew wants to address that with his presentation, but Andrew, are you able to tell me right now if the zoning case has been filed yet?
I do not know if it has officially been filed. I know it was very close to that point if it has not already been filed. But
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have a zoning case number just yet, so people can always follow up with me on that when a case is eventually filed. That way, well, actually, when it is filed, you get a notice of filing in the mail. If you live within 500 feet and you receive this community meeting notice, you'll get that notice of filing. So the agenda tonight is I'll go over basic case information, how to participate in the process. Why is there a plan amendment application? What is a future land use map? After my presentation, Andrew will give a presentation, then we'll open the floor to the questions and answers. So as you know, the property address is 5804 North IH 35, Service Road southbound is 1.185 acres. The case number is NPA 2021-0011.02. The project name is Amaya Building Project. The change to the North Loop future land use map is a request to change it from commercial to mixed use land use. The associated zoning case isn't filed at this time. On the plan amendment application, it states the proposed zoning will be commercial service conditional overlay mixed use neighborhood plan for a condominium, restaurant, and retail development. The current zoning is commercial service conditional overlay neighborhood plan. Here's the property owner is Roberto Amaya and the agent is Candelario Moreno. Excuse me. Guidelines for group discussion. So please feel free to type your questions into the chat at any time during this meeting. We ask that you to please postpone your general comments until the end of the Q&A session. We just want to make sure that we can see the questions up front so we don't miss any. And then after the Q&A session has ended, if you have general comments that you want to add, you can do it then. After the staff and applicant presentations, if you would like to speak, please raise your hand by clicking on the hand symbol on the menu bar. Telephone participants will be able to speak during the Q&A session of the meeting. Attendees will be muted upon arrival and through the staff and applicant presentations. Then staff will open the floor to questions and answers in the chat and by attendees raising their hands to speak. Similar questions may be grouped together and answered together. We ask that you please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. And if you're having connection issues, if you could please turn off your video function. If you have questions after this meeting, they'll be answered and made available by request within 5 business days on the website speakupaustin.org/NPA. And this is also where the recorded meeting will be posted. If you remember certain questions that you didn't get a chance to ask tonight, you can always email it to either me or Mark. If you email us your written comments, they'll be added to the staff case reports that will be presented to Planning Commission and City Council. Again, if you live within 500 feet, you'll get a notice in the mail once the cases are scheduled for Planning Commission and City Council. The dates have not been scheduled yet for those hearing dates, but look out for that notice in the mail. So why is there a neighborhood plan amendment? So neighborhood plans are adopted by City Council as amendments to the Imagine Austin Comprehensive Plan. City Charter requires zoning changes to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. Most neighborhood plan amendments are amendments to the plan's future land use map, which we also call the FLUM. Most neighborhood plan amendment applications also have an associated zoning application. Both applications move concurrently through the planning process and through Planning Commission and City Council. So this map shows areas in blue that have City Council approved neighborhood plans, most of which have a future land use map. And this is the future land use map.
Maureen, you seem to have gone silent.
Or can you hear me now?
Faintly.
Okay.
There, I can kind of hear you. Try to, you say something, Maureen, see if I can hear you.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
moving the
perfect.
mic closer. Can you hear me?
Yes, just kind of speak a little loud, a little more loudly.
Okay. Okay, let me get back to this. So where was I? Okay, so the existing land use on the future land use map is commercial and it is shown as red. The proposed land use is mixed use, which is shown as brown. This chart shows how the zoning districts are considered consistent with the various land use categories. This map is just an aerial photo that shows the property in relation to I-35 and Rhineley Street. This is a Google map that shows some of the surrounding uses. This is just a Google map screenshot from the service road of the property. This is a aerial photo of the future land use map, also showing the property in red. Here is the zoning that shows the zoning. This is a zoning map that shows the existing zoning as CSCO, which is commercial service conditional overlay neighborhood plan. And this is a map that shows the property in relation to the Imagine Austin Comprehensive Plan Growth Concept Map. It shows it's located within the Highland Mall Station Activity Center, and it shows some of the bus routes around the property. And then I will stop sharing my screen, and Andrew will then start his presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks again for having us tonight. Let's see. Trying to present my screen. There we go. I should be presenting now. Can you guys confirm that you're seeing my screen?
We can see your screen. You might want to
Great.
go to full screen
Oh,
or not. That's
this is probably as good as I can
okay.
get,
Fair enough.
but I can zoom in and out if there are questions that need more detail. The Amaya family brought us on to do a feasibility study on the site to look at pursuing their goal of building out the site with a condominium use, and then also being able to maintain their restaurant on site. And the image that is up right now is a rendering of our latest design concept, which is a 5-story condominium building with the restaurant holding the corner down on the ground level. And stylistically, we're trying to connect to the Spanish heritage of the Maya village restaurant, but do that in kind of a uniquely Austin style. And in order to have both the restaurant and the condominium use on site, we need the mixed use added to the zoning, and that is the main reason we are here tonight. We had a successful meeting with the neighborhood on June 16th of this year, where we presented this presentation to them and received I believe the correct term is a letter of recommendation for the project. And I'll flip through a few more pages here. So this is just a really quick massing study of the scale of the building on the site. This is the existing survey, some zoning information. These are basic massing plans of one way the building could be arranged, where we have parking in an L-shaped configuration on the ground level, and then parking is stacked on 2 other levels on the back of the lot, and then the residential and restaurant are wrapping the west and south sides of the lot and holding the corner on the southeast. Some basic massing, 3D axonometric views, as well as showing our building height, which our zoning has a maximum height of 60 feet. And then some precedent imagery of styles and some Austin flavor that we're trying to capture in this project. And I will go back to the beginning here and turn over the floor to answer any questions and continue the meeting. Thank you.
So
You can go ahead and leave your presentation up in case there's any questions that are related to it.
Will do.
So, if anybody has any questions, if you look at the very top of the screen, there's a smiley face with a hand. And if you hover your cursor over that, there's a raise hand function. So if anybody would like to ask questions, they can raise their hand or they can enter into the chat. The choice is yours. So does anybody have any questions of the applicant? In my computer is acting up a little bit, so I might not be able to see them. Maureen, can you look and see if anybody has their hand raised? There, it all came together. Never mind. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the project?
Nothing else really, other than I saw a note about the restaurant remaining. That is a core part of the project and has been from the beginning, and will remain so, that the Amaya family will continue to operate their restaurant out of this site.
We got a couple people, well, one person on the phone, they really can't raise their hand, but the person with the phone with the last 4 digits of 2535, do you have a question? No? This may be a very quick meeting. So while we're waiting see if anybody has any questions, Maureen, can you go? Oh, there's someone's typing in the chat. She says, someone said, my only concern is parking. So I think maybe where will the residents and the customers be parking?
Sure. Let me flip to these plan diagrams real quick. So the current thinking is that there would be ground level parking for employees and restaurant patrons, wrapping this L shape, if you guys can see my cursor. And then the resident parking would be stacked at the back of the lot in a structured parking garage.
Okay.
Maureen here, do you plan to park to code or request any reduction in parking?
We are currently overparked, and so we may not need a reduction depending on our final bedroom count.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, we can call the meeting and get back to our evening. We do have a hand up, and that is from Ray. If you could unmute and ask your question.
Hi, yeah, I just put it in the chat. I just wanted to raise my hand so that you wouldn't close the meeting super quickly. I just saw that the space is labeled retail/restaurant. Is there plans for like other storefronts besides just the space for the restaurant? Just curious.
Yes, I've been imagining, and I think the family would like to have at least one other retail spot in there. They're not going to need what we're currently holding out is about 8,000 square feet. They're not going to need that much space for the restaurant, as far as I'm aware, and so there would probably be some space for small retail, in an additional business in that strip.
Okay, we have another person typing, so see what that question might be. How many condo units are you proposing?
We currently have, great question. We currently have about 80 units.
Okay. And is that a mix of different bedroom counts?
That was the thinking. Probably mostly, 2 bedrooms, but we hadn't really we haven't dived into
Unit
the
mix.
actual mix that they want.
Okay, from Ray, who asked the last question, my only other concern would be construction, but maybe if there's construction, there'll be fewer people using Rhineley as a through street.
You know, the construction's always a pain in Austin, but there would be right-of-way permits associated with the construction, and they would hopefully do that in a responsible manner so that it didn't impact Rhineley too much.
Okay. There's another, let's see, someone else typing question. So, okay, would parking along the street be reduced? It doesn't seem like there are restrictions on parking on the street at the moment.
Not that I'm aware of. Is I'm not aware of any street level parking restrictions on Rhineley.
Okay. Looking again. Maureen, while we're waiting to see if there's any more questions, could you just kind of verbally go over the next steps?
Sure. So after this meeting, my team will look at the plan amendment request and we'll make a recommendation. We'll forward that on to the zoning planners. They will meet, they'll make a zoning recommendation. We'll reach out to the applicant with the staff recommendation. Then we will work with the applicant about scheduling the public hearings. I believe we do have a letter from the North Loop Planning Contact Team. Anybody who wants to submit any comments to be added to staff case report, we recommend that you send it to us sooner rather than later so we can make sure it's added to the report since we don't have a date picked out just yet.
Okay. So before we leave, would you like to add anything else about the project before we, looks like we might be signing off. Nobody else has questions?
Nothing else to add from the design
Okay.
team at the moment.
Oh, yeah, there's another. So every time I threaten to
Mm.
cut the meeting, it gets people's questions going. Will this be LIHTC? And I don't know what that means. Could you, Delia, could you expand on what those letters mean? I'm not familiar with that acronym.
And you can, Dalia, you can always turn on your
Oh,
mic.
low
if you want.
income housing tax credits.
That has not been mentioned to me in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
I think they're envisioning a cool loft style, space, which would be a little bit of a higher end product.
Okay. Another question being typed. She said, okay, thanks. Let's see what that is. Will these be for sale or rental units?
The hope is for sale.
Another, okay, thanks for the answer. Welcome, Jacqueline. Any other questions before, we could all sit here and listen to the silence, or we can go about our evenings if nobody else has any questions. So failing that, Maureen, can you take control and put your contact and Mark's contact up so people can write that down if they want, so they can have that for their records?
Sure. So, Andrew, if you want to stop sharing, I'll pull up my screen.
You got it.
Thank you. So there's my contact information. Wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Wrong case. Never mind. Let me try that again.
It's still your contact information. It's
Yeah,
just,
I don't want to, well, it's not the correct zoning planner
that's true.
person. So let me try that again. Why is that? Hold on. This is embarrassing. Hold on.
Pull up the wrong slide there.
It says, I think I just need to move up to the first slide.
Yes.
Hold on. Sorry. Here we go. Trying to scroll. Here we go.
There we go.
There we go.
So we'll linger here on this slide for a few minutes so people could jot it down, though you do have Maureen's contact information if you receive the notice in the mail. But Mr. Graham's contact information is here, though. It's my understanding the zoning case hasn't been filed yet, but it's pending. So with that, if there's any more questions, we'd like to call it a night and thank you for attending, sharing, spending some time here to learn about this project. So Maureen, do you want to start wrapping things up?
Yes. So like I said, if you can always reach out to either me or Mark for any follow-up on the cases. If you also want to touch base with us within a week or so to see if we have any preliminary planning commission dates picked out, we can also share that with you, but we just don't have it at this time. I think that's it.
And Andrew is tapping in the chat right now, so wait till he's done and then see what's there, and then we can see you to dinner.
Just saying thanks.
Okay, thank you, and thank everybody. And with that, we'll call the meeting, and everybody have a very good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.